KIT 2022 has been announced coming in late October. But the thing that has made it kind of somber is that they said this is going to be the last one. Now, Ian actually said, and Ian is the one who's the head or the founder of KIT. He actually said that the reason why it's not coming back is because of financial strains. Now we know the COVID pandemic hit everybody hard. I believe KIT had one of their events canceled, and they weren't able to do KIT in Texas, Kumite in Texas anymore. But that was for like a totally different reason. Now, they had an event, but he said that one was technically supposed to be the last one, but the crew got together and was like, you know what? We kind of want to do an official. This is the last one, hoorah, and just do it for the community and stuff like that. So it's sad, but this actually led into a conversation about TOs really not making a lot to sustainably keep up making these doing these tournaments or doing these events. Um, and it's funny because, well, not funny, but one of the tweets that came out of this situation was Majan Obama saying, "You mean to tell me all this time most TOs are not making mad bank on events, and time investment, stress involved in executing good events is something you as a player shouldn't take for granted, especially when fewer people are taking the torch as more events fade away? Crazy." Now, this is a conversation that me personally, like, I could sit here and talk about all day because it's just a community issue. Community is something I can talk about all day. I'm sure MC Amazing has heard me go on mini rants and the word community comes up a quadrillion times, and he has to sit there and just act like he didn't hear it for the quadrillionth time. But so I'll let Mr. MC Amazing go first and talk about this because I think going off him and just instead of just give me like a wide open space to just spew out whatever. Like, I'll let MC Amazing go first.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, yeah, I would definitely say the TOs don't make enough. You know, uh, it's like it's kind of hard. It's really hard to run an event if you don't have any money. Like, if there's no money, you can't. You can't even rent the venue. I mean, much less get the equipment. I mean, because it's not like the equipment is going to work forever, right? Like, eventually you got to buy new equipment. And you always got to come up with like new ways to bring people in because you got to advertise. You know, and then of course, then sometimes people want concessions, and eventually it gets to the point where it feels like instead of just like running like events that are just strictly like FGC events, it's like you got to start kind of like combining with like other events. Like it's not like it's like, well, we can't just have like a fighting game tournament. We have to combine with like do something in conjunction with like over at Nishi Fest, right? Like they have Nishi Fest, and then they have like the tournaments for like Guilty Gear and stuff over there, or at DreamHack where there's all the stuff going on with like uh like other games, but then there's also fighting games there at the event, So I don't know, man. It's like at this point, it seems like an issue of like survival, man. Like because and it is kind of like it is kind of an issue with the community. It is kind of an issue because it's like, man, at what point do you like say, hey, you know what, they need our help, instead of being like, well, when we need the value, we need more value for our dollar, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you do like in an optimal situation, you'd be like, oh yeah, man, I need more value for my dollar, but this is not. This is probably like as almost as far away from that as you can possibly get, man, because the pandemic hit everybody pretty hard. Like it was already like it was already kind of a risky proposition trying to like do like a tournament before the pandemic started. Then during, and then I can't even say after because we're still in the middle of it. It's like right now it's still tough and it's not getting any easier. So I mean, I don't know. Like I'll put it this way: like all the prices have to go up, man. Like that's just the way it is. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be mad if somebody was like, you got to pay like 50, 60, $70 to get in here, you know, uh, because like the price for the venue went up, the price to get like the vendors are gonna try to be there, like all this stuff is supposed to be happening in like this one area, and it's like, yeah, but I'm still trying to pay like $20 to get in, It's like there's no the balance is way off. I think, like, it's like I want to pay $20 to get in here, where like they have like FGC like centric stuff. There's like the friendlies going on. There's tournament more than one tournament going on. Like especially if you got like a BYOC or something like that, or just an area, or even simply an area where like you can just yeah, the BYOC where you just put your stuff in there, and you bring your monitor, your own console and everything, and then people play like random games in a room. Like, I mean, even at like you have like the guys like the Texas shot takers who go to like events and they set up like the arcade machines and everything like that. Like that's a big deal, man. Like, cause I mean, like I was in a Puzzle Fighter 2 tournament, man. I've never played Puzzle Fighter in my entire life. I always wanted to, and I finally got a chance to play Puzzle Fighter because of the Texas shot takers. All because I decided to come to a tournament. There's a lot going on at any given tournament, and to get those people to come, they got to pay them. There has to be the money has to be there. So yeah, like I think, in order to keep things like balanced, I would say it would only make sense for us to like pay a little bit more to like get for venue fees and stuff like that. Like, I mean, what do you think, man? I'm just like kind of just going running at the mouth here.
So I know this probably gonna seem like I'm just taking you to school and stuff like that, but communities are things that I really do research, because not just only because I'm in the FGC, but it helps with the FGC. But knowing what a community is and how it actually works and runs and operates can really help us understand when we learn these principles how to take them over to the FGC. So the three main aspects of a community, and that's why I was looking down because I have like notes that I written all the way back in like 2019, 2020 while I was studying communities and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But the three major aspects of a community that make up a community is you have an economy, you have a code of conduct, and you have representatives you know. So an economy is basically, you guys have money basically. You have a system that allows everybody to survive financially. And then you have a code of conduct. Now there's something that came up in the FGC a lot,
I remember
and
that.
it seemed like it was something that, people were kind of hit or miss on and stuff like that. But if you really want to be we have a lot of these issues that you see come up in the community where people do different things, they get banned and all this other stuff. So a code of conduct would actually help with that. And then you have representatives for your community, like people who could go out, represent your community, probably get sponsorships and things like that, get you seen in different places and stuff. And so there's 5 floors to a stable economy. And the first floor is actually group economics. And I think the thing that we're missing is like group economics. When you look at other cultures within the world and stuff like that, like a lot of people talk about like in a lot of places you can go to a Chinatown and stuff like that. When you go there, you see like a lot of group of the same people running businesses together in the same place, and they help build their funds together to help each other survive, thrive, and get everything that they need so that the things of their community can be done. Like let's just say we open one store and then we get everybody to work at that store until we can open another store, then we work those 2 stores to open 4 stores and stuff like that. And I feel like that's a concept that the FGC is missing, like, and one reason I say that is because I personally feel like for me, like any event that I went to that was a major or something like that, I wouldn't mind spending $70, $80, $90 just to get into the venue, whatever thing that they set up, because we can't expect them to do more if they don't have the resources to do it with,
Yeah.
and we basically as a community come together, and even if they say, hey, it's just $20 to get in the door, everybody take the initiative to say like, hey, it might be 20, but we're still going to donate another 50 to the Matcherino, or another 50 to this TO's cash app, or whatever way we go about paying the person, but making sure that us as a community fund the event. And then I feel like you'd have more of a place to come and say, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like another, because we've all invested our part so much. Not saying that what you invest into it already, but a lot of the things I feel like that we expect is just unreasonable. When we come from when we come to these TOs and stuff like that. I mean, Rick just said he spent 700,000 to do Combo Breaker, you know. And then a lot of people like when we look at CEO, it was a thing where people were just laughing at the payouts, but it's just like, man, why don't we just fund the payouts? Why don't we fund these things? If it's FGC by FGC and we want stuff to still have that grassroots feel, we're gonna have to pay for it. If not, we're gonna have to go out and get sponsors, the money from somewhere, from all these other places. And then a lot of people already like to say, when you look at Evo and stuff like that, they say it feels corporate. It feels very corporate. It's not something that feels like has that FGC homegrown feel. So it's like we have to learn group economics, how we can, it's so many things that people spend money on that we could just go and put it into the communities that we love. Now, if you're a person who says, I really don't care, I just want to show up to the events or the things in the FGC and have fun, then okay, that's you. But if you're somebody that really wants more for the FGC, or you're somebody who's, a person that likes to go and say like, "Hey, I didn't like this and this and this about an event." Well, I mean, we have to come together as a community and put more skin in the game to make sure that we're getting the things that we say we want. I mean, look, you could take a local for example. Let's just say Collisions. We both know Collisions. Like Collisions runs their event how they run it now. But if we wanted more, if we wanted Collisions to go like into a bigger venue, to be a bigger monthly, we probably have to invest more into it to get that marketing to that they could put out to get more people to be able to come to the event and see it. We'd have to put in that money for to be able to get the bigger venue, more setups, more of this, more of that, more whatever. Like, where is it gonna come from? And it needs to come from the community itself. So that's my TED talk. I appreciate everybody for coming.